Coming up on the season debut edition of Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. The sights and sounds of football are back as the Vikings hit the field to begin the 2015 season. Plus, we look at some intriguing position battles for training camp.
Don't get caught up in what other guys are doing, if they're doing well or not doing well, and just go out there and play.
Follow a longtime Viking making his 10th trip down to camp.
The unmistakable smell of the dorms. It's like I'm 18 again, moving back into school.
And the Vikings celebrate 50 years of making Mankato their summer home.
But it served the purpose. I mean, the food was good, and Mankato always treated us well.
It's all next on Vikings Beyond the Gridiron.
I don't know any better than hard work. And I want our football team to have that mentality.
Strong work ethic, and you're mentally tough, then you're going to get the job done. Have the opportunity to wear the purple and gold.
This is here is just to show that I'll compete at a high level, lead this team.
All right, here we go. Everybody up, everybody up, everybody up. So we got to get going here. We got to get better. The fundamentals is what's important. We got to get to work, all right?
It started on Sunday morning. The first cleats walking across Stadium Road on the campus of Minnesota State Mankato. And with it brought the official start to the 2015 year for the Minnesota Vikings.
Obviously get ready for football. That's the number one thing. But just being around each other all the time, there's always just funny things that come up and kind of bonding experiences. So there's a lot of that just naturally happens, and it's nobody wants to go to training camp, but once you're down there, you end up having a lot of fun.
Definitely an exciting time of the year, not just for myself, and not just for my teammates or coaches, but for the fans, the people out there watching this football season, and just like the football players, a lot of people wait around for this season, It's very exciting. Looking forward to getting out there and going full speed with the fellas, and like I said, recreating that bond that we make when we come to camp.
The dog days of summer brings back the NFL season with the opening of training camps across the country. A time of the year to bond as a team, fight for roster spots, and start to push forward towards September and the regular season.
It's very important. It's leading up to the things that you're going to do throughout the season and get a chance to evaluate all the talent on the team, and get to compete against each other and to build bonds as well, camaraderie. You get to be with these guys all day, and it's just strength building.
Oh, it's always big. That's where you build your team. Training camp is where you build your team and the character of your team. I think guys, we're gonna find out who's the tough guys and who not. We're gonna find out who wants to get hit, who doesn't, who wants to be hit or who wants to hit. We'll find that all out. Who wants to make plays, who doesn't want to make plays, who loves the game, who don't. So, like I said, I'm always gonna put in work. So I'm excited about it. I think we have a great group of guys. I'm excited to be around.
The first game of the year is still 6 weeks away, which gives plenty of time to come together and prepare for what lies ahead. But with a young and hungry team, a coaching staff entering year 2 of their tenure in Minnesota, and a group of veteran stars improving on last year and bringing the Vikings back into the postseason is on everyone's mind.
It's the same type of feeling, you kind of build up in the offseason and then you get to go out there and put your product on the field, and that's, I'm excited for it, but at the same time, I'm excited for right now for working on getting better before that and being able to put a product on the field that our organization and our fans are going to be proud of.
I feel like we have great potential. We have great talent.
And I feel like the sky's the limit for us. You know, it's really all about, as a team, us putting in the effort and us putting in the time to get there. But we have what it takes to make it into the playoffs and give ourselves a chance.
I'm pretty excited. Can't wait to get out there on the field with the guys. It's time to get back to business and work hard and go for the ultimate goal, and that's Super Bowl.
Coming up, we see why there's so much pressure and importance for each player during every day of camp. That's next on Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. Vikings Beyond the Gridiron is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Minnesota Vikings, by Verizon, the official wireless partner of the Minnesota Vikings, and by U.S. Bank, the official bank of the Minnesota Vikings and proud sponsor of U.S. Bank Stadium. With 90 players walking onto the field in training camp, simple mathematics can tell the story. An NFL roster on opening day features 53 players. That means 37 players, over a third of the names in camp, won't be wearing purple come September 14th.
Just being in the NFL, you always think about the numbers and how many guys you start with and then how many is, gonna actually make the roster. So it's something always to think of, especially, being a vet and knowing how things work. So it's always on my mind.
An equation that puts pressure on every single player, because in the NFL, no roster spot is ever completely safe.
We meet weekly with the coaching staff, discuss each player, how they're progressing on the field, how they're progressing in the weight room, how they're progressing in the meetings. And we start to formulate, a little bit what potentially our 53-man roster could look like, and also the potential practice squad candidates that we'll keep.
This training camp and preseason, we will feature the roster and position battle from the eyes of 4 completely different vantage points. Rookie free agents working to catch the eyes of the coaches. The drafted rookies learning the ropes of the NFL. Young talent trying to earn more playing time, and veterans knowing they always have someone wanting their job.
There's a lot that goes into it when it comes down to all the roster cuts, and so to speak. When I was coming into the league, just listening to older guys, they always advised me to not really get caught up in that and don't get caught up in what other guys are doing, if they're doing well or not doing well, and just go out there and play, and everything will take care of itself and it'll unfold how it's supposed to. And just worry about taking care of your job and doing your responsibility, and just do what you got to do.
Each player wants to have everything go right to start off camp. But things were a bit rocky at first for undrafted rookie Anthony Harris.
My flight was supposed to leave at 8:45 yesterday, and then it got delayed. They said the plane was broke, so they were sending in a new plane to pick us up. So we end up boarding close to 10:30, and then after sitting on the plane for a while, they said that there was balance issues because it was a different type of plane. So they wanted to avoid asking people to get off, so they decided to shift our luggage around onto another flight that was supposed to come here. So it sounded good, and then the one thing I was pleased about, they actually bumped me up from row 18 to row 4, so I ended up being in first class. So that was nice, but then I got here and then realized that they didn't know where my luggage was. So.
The rookie safety from Virginia made a big impression in minicamp and off-season workouts. And even with his travel headaches, he's excited to begin his NFL journey.
Feels good, to be able to, wake up each morning and focus on something that I love, which is football. So I'm excited to be here, got a lot of great guys who I'm learning from, a lot of great coaches trying to help me get better. And right now I'm just trying to take advantage of the opportunity.
Excitement fills the air for every player as they return to the practice field and put on the pads. While there is pressure each and every day throughout camp, the players know they need to just play the game and not worry about the numbers.
kind of don't think about that. You know, you start thinking about stuff like that, then you find yourself maybe trying to add and subtract certain numbers when it comes to certain positions. You don't want to do that. You know, you want to go out there, you just want to play football, you know what I'm saying, go out there with your teammates, have a good time, play relentless, have fun, go out there and make each other better, you know what I'm saying, and let the eggs fall where they may.
The 6 weeks of camp and the preseason are more than being prepared for the 2015 season. Each player will have highs and lows, but they all know they get a fair chance to catch the eye of the coaches and staff and have their opportunity to be members of the Minnesota Vikings.
I just go out and play. I mean, I know there's going to be some cuts. It's kind of crazy. Like, it's a game that we all love and we cherish, and we're taught to be brothers and a family, but you're kind of like, man, this guy's, I want to be his friend, but I really don't like him. Like, I don't want to like him like that because he could be the guy that takes my spot. But, I mean, you got to be confident in yourself, knowing that all I can do is trust in myself and know that if I go out there and give it all I got, and if it's not here, there's 31 other teams that may pick me up. And I mean, just go out there and work, man. Do the best you can do, and be the best person you can be on and off the field.
Coming up, a linebacker makes his 10th journey to Mankato. That's next on Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. A lot has changed in Mankato in the past decade. Old Gage Hall has gone away. New buildings on campus. And a state-of-the-art athletic complex. But there has been one constant in the past 10 years, number 52.
Looks like we made it. 10 years strong.
In the ever-changing NFL, having a player in the same uniform for 10 years is a rare commodity. Chad Greenway checked into training camp last week for the start of his 10th season in purple.
Time to get the stuff out of the car, get it put into the dorm room. That's where it all starts. My 10th year in Mankato, so obviously I've done it a few times. I got a few of the tricks of the trade, like the foam pad to make your bed a little more comfortable. You know, I got the foam roller, the Normatec for some recovery, which, you know, you're sitting in your room at night, you know, watching a movie or something. Great time to recover, get your body back and ready to go for the next day. I got a Tupperware full of, or a tub of snacks here. All the treats you could ever think of or want right there. And that's key, keeps your sweet tooth, you know, just to keep you going. Oreos, you know, all the good stuff.
It's an annual tradition moving into Mankato for camp, and something Greenway has gotten quite accustomed to.
All right, here we go. See how the old dorm room's doing. It's been a while. I'm locked out. There we go. The unmistakable smell of the dorms. It's like I'm 18 again, moving back into school. There you have it. We're in.
Not only familiar with the ins and outs of camp, the 32-year-old knows a thing or two about making it through the grind on the football field.
The best thing to do at training camp is to take it slow, one day at a time. It's a long grind physically. So the biggest thing is to get off your feet when you don't have to be on your feet. Lay down, relax, try to stay cool. And when it's time to go, you got to go.
Not only has the veteran learned how to survive NFL training camps, he's found a way to prosper for 10 years in the league. A two-time Pro Bowl linebacker, Greenway has played his entire career in purple, earning the respect and admiration from his peers, fans, and teammates.
Chad's the ultimate pro. He's going to be a great leader for the room. He does a lot of things that help the rookies learn, and takes a lot of guys under his wing. And he really tries to do everything we want him to do, and he's just a great asset for the room.
truly a blessing, man. It's truly a blessing. Not even to be able to play 10 years, but be able to play at his level of play, you know, and be able to come in every day, you know, like a young guy with a great head on his shoulders, and just the way his attitude and the way he comes about each and every day, you know, you got to be excited to have him on your team.
I love having Chad around. He's the best vet, great guy. I mean, you don't care if you're a rookie or if you're whoever you are. He's treats you the same. He's a leader. He's, you know, he's a great guy to have in the locker room and on the field for us.
Lasting 10 years is an accomplishment few in the NFL ever obtain. But Chad Greenway is far from a normal player. In his Pro Bowl career, Greenway has been a staple of the Vikings since 2006. And with that, has been able to call Mankato a summer home for 10 years. Coming up, the Vikings celebrate 50 years of camp in Mankato. That's next on Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. Vikings Beyond the Gridiron is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of the Minnesota Vikings, by Verizon, the official wireless partner of the Minnesota Vikings, and by U.S. Bank, the official bank of the Minnesota Vikings and proud sponsor of U.S. Bank Stadium. They are the sounds that fill that air.
There you go right there. Now stay right there. Sit right there.
For the players, it can signal the daily grind. For the coaches, it means a time to teach. And for the fans, a chance to see the new team.
You know, it's funny, training camp's a thing that, you know, as you get older, you know, you go back to high school and no one ever wanted summer to end. You know, training camp means summer's over and it's time to go to two-a-days, and you always just dreaded it. And now as I get older, you know, you look at training camp completely differently. You know, it's an exciting time. It's a time for us to start preparing for September.
The Vikings once again traveled south down 169 for their 50th season in Mankato. Training camps are long, grueling days for the players who battle the heat and hours spent on the practice field. But the old-timers will tell much worse tales of their days in Mankato. Two-a-day full-pad workouts, no air conditioning in Gage Hall, and a month-plus camp. But as difficult as they were to get through, they made a lifetime of memories.
I remembered that there was a pizza place right down from the locker room. And what they did, they had frozen beer mugs and they had frozen pitchers of beer. And we'd go in there, and after practice at Mankato, we would go in there and finish our practice on a hot August afternoon or July afternoon, and we would drink those pitchers of beer and come to the dining table, and we weren't hungry. We didn't want to eat. So then we'd go after that, come back to the dormitory, and we'd play cards. And we'd play cards late into the evening, and that again built the camaraderie and the culture that was special to us.
August, I didn't know what August were like. Gage Hall was August to me. And sweaty sheets, you know, you'd go to bed at, 12 o'clock, and it'd be 3 o'clock before you cool off enough, you'd go to sleep.
But it served a purpose. I mean, the food was good, and Mankato always treated us well.
You know, when we were down there at the end of the day, the beers in Mankato taste so good because it could get really hot down there. The food, we always had great training tables. It was a great time. So, I mean, for 50 years to hold the Vikings there, they've done an outstanding job.
4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks, and you tackle every day. That's what you do. You line up the first day of training camp, you put the ball on the 5-yard line, and we had to score. If you didn't score, defense, we'd have to run laps. Whoever scored, if we scored, we didn't have to run. If they let us, if they stopped it, they didn't have to run. So it was a competitive deal, and it was ran properly and efficient.
Day after day in the August heat was a normal struggle each player dealt with in camp. They weren't fun days, but Bud Grant and his coaches made sure his players were both physically and mentally tough enough for the long season ahead.
I think it's critical. I think it's a time that you have to get away where players have to focus on systems and the little nuances of football. This is a time where you build trust and camaraderie and all of those things that it takes to take that next step for you being a successful team. So I think it truly it makes a difference.
A lot has changed in the 50 years since the Vikings first went to Mankato. But as times change and the city of Mankato changes, there is never anything different about the main objective of camp.
It helps the mindset of what you're going to have to go through throughout the 16-game season, the ups and downs of everything, and being able to be pushed and fight through adversity and all the things that happen there. But what really matters is how we go out and perform in the pressure-packed situations when the games are on the line, how we play together as a team. I still believe that the best team wins that day, not the best talent or the best individuals or one guy plays great, but the best team, whether it's special teams or offensive, defensively. And that's really what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a great team.
The preceding has been a presentation of the Vikings Entertainment Network.